Welcome back everyone to this next chapter of the truth about TCM. Previously we were talking about the Tao and how it's been broken down into Yin and Yang. Often there's an assigned Chinese word to deficiency, yin deficiency or deficiency conditions. Shu, XU, shu. Shu is, can be a cause, can be a root problem. A ben, B-E-N, ben, a root problem. Yang is the excess, shi, S-H-I, shi. It's can be the biao, ben biao being the branch. And that could be a symptom. So you could have a deficiency of yin causing an excess of yang. These are the kind of ways that the medicine was starting to be looked at. I would invite you, if you really wanted to get good at TCM and Chinese medicine in general, is to study the 5 elements table. For example, we have, let's choose an organ, let's choose the heart. It's a yin organ, it's a Jiang organ, and it's linked with the Shen. The heart is paired with the small intestine. The thing to remember about the heart is when the qi is good, the person has good rapport. They are definitely a lot easier to cure. They have a good shen, they're warm, they're joyful. If the shen is disturbed, you tend to lean more towards a manic or an empty state of mind, a kind of an empty personality. To have a low-grade mental disturbance. This is an example of psychological effects of poor health of the heart. Another example would be something like the liver. Liver is paired with the gallbladder, it's linked to wood, and it houses the hun, H-U-N, hun. The hun is predominant in your growth, in your learning, in your progression, in moving forward. It's the energy of springtime. And we talk about anger being associated with liver, frustration, anger. Some people say the translation is anger is caused by a damaged liver. Not necessarily damaged the liver, but is caused by a damaged liver. The spleen and stomach linked to earth and the yi. Yi is about sharpness, intellect, wisdom. Excessive energy, obsessive energy, unable to stop worrying is a classic sign of the spleen being in disharmony. The lung is linked with the large intestine and is the element of metal. Po, again, that is very much linked to being a witty person, to being an intellectual person, but is damaged by grief. Kidney harmonized with the bladder, working together. A water element, and zhi. When damaged, we have fear, fright. But when it is good energy, the person tends to be relentlessly courageous, has a high level of willpower, likened to the sea crashing against the shore, just relentless pounding energy. When looking at the heart, we have to remember one, the heart dominates the blood and vessels, it dominates the facial colour. The facial colour is manifested in the face, so if you have somebody coming in with a pale face, their heart energy is low. It houses the mind, helps you think clearly, helps you shut down easily at night time. It houses the short-term memory. And the tongue is a manifestation of the heart. You're looking for a nice pink tongue. If there's a deficiency heat, in other words, there's a lack of yin energy causing heat, you'll have red cheeks, possibly with broken veins. If the blood is poor quality, the person will be unable to think clearly. And if the person has a lack of qi of the heart, yang qi, you get a situation of palpitations. The tongue is represented at the very tip. Sorry, the heart is represented on the very tip of the tongue. My apologies. Again, if we have a red tip, we have this deficiency energy of yin causing fire. Likewise, the liver is housed on the left and right sides, and the middle of the jiao, in the middle jiao section, and right in the center of the tongue, we're looking at the digestive system, and the root of the tongue then looking at the lower part of the body, the kidneys, the bladder, the large intestine. But the tongue is a physical manifestation, it's a muscle, and it gives you an overall view of the health of the heart anyway. If we see a lot of purple around the edges of the tongue, we are dealing with some kind of blood stagnation. So with women, we want to just check the venous blood flow, check their cycle. Is there any excess pain? Is the period short, 14 to 24 days? Is it heavy and dark? Does it have clots? Is it painful? This gives us an idea of how well the liver is working in relation to blood flow. If the side of the tongue is raised but no real colour, it's a deficiency colour, it's almost like an orangey colour, then we could be looking at scanty, long periods with bright red, very little blood. These kinds of things are thought about in Chinese medicine, and actually, in my experience, more relate to herbal medicine. We still use the tongue in acupuncture, but it's giving a real flavour of the Zhang Fu organs. But we still need to know these things. Pale tongue. The tongue body is pale. There's a general deficiency of blood in the body. That means the energy of the blood is pretty poor. The person may be cold. The blood isn't pumping to all the vital areas efficiently. If the tongue was purple, then we know we're dealing with a severe blood stasis or blood stagnation issue. The tongue coating can give you an indication of the digestive system in general, and also the quality of the large intestine in terms of its function. I remember in my training at TCM, one of my teachers used to talk about the tongue being stripped of its coating and had this kind of strange glossiness, and that would be an indication that the lining of the large intestine has been stripped away. If you see thick coating on the tongue, like a thick moss, usually a white colour, it could be a sign of food retention or food not moving through the digestive system effectively. So lots of information can be gleaned in TCM, and what we have to remember is that it's an accumulation of several different systems all crisscrossing over one another. And often this information can be a little bit overwhelming, but it's interesting to learn and interesting to think about it and contemplate it. Moving on, we're going to have a look at how the liver relates in TCM and the kind of things we want to watch for with the liver. Thanks for joining me again, and look forward to seeing you soon.